Hello, hello. Let me just adjust this stand a little bit. Hello, hello. Welcome to day 45 of 365 days of Facebook Live. And today I thought I would share a little something that I think will be useful. I want to say for you, but actually it was really helpful and useful for me. And on the day of recording this, because I know some of you are kind of playing catch up and watching these, kind of a few days out. On the day of recording this, it's Sunday the 26th of March, and it's the afternoon. In fact, while the man's watching football, I'm taking a cheeky moment to watch a documentary, and also just to kind of prepare myself for the week, kind of mentally and physically and, practically really. And it reminded me of something that came to mind this morning. So here in the UK, we've now gone from GMT, so Greenwich Mean Time, to BST, British Summer Time, which meant that when we went to bed last night, the clocks went forward by an hour. You know the concept, spring forward, fall backwards. So your clocks go forward at spring, backwards in the fall or in the autumn. And when I woke up this morning, I actually woke up early, which I didn't expect to do. You know how it is. It's that time of year. So I keep messing around with this stand, but I'm cutting the top of my head off now. So apologies for the wobbles. I'm not going to play with it anymore. And I just realised I was leaning against something that I shouldn't have been leaning against. So I'm just sorting that out. Anyway, yeah, so I was expecting to wake up a bit groggy this morning, as people will tell you should happen, in these clock changing times. But actually, I woke up early again, and I was grateful for that, because the sooner my body can get into the time change, same thing with jet lag and stuff like that. I don't get jet lag anymore. That's a whole topic for another time. If you're interested in avoiding jet lag, I will share my secrets, but I haven't had it since 2013. That's like 10 years ago. Anyway, so yeah, I woke up this morning. I woke up early, didn't expect to wake up early, and realised part of the reason that I woke up early was because I was a bit worried about something. There was something going through my mind. So I decided that once I'd kind of woken up and all of that kind of stuff, that I wanted to do something about it. And it kind of, the irony wasn't lost on me that we are in this springing forward. But for some of us, while the world or our country or our time zone is springing forward, we can sometimes feel like we're falling backwards. We can sometimes feel like it's, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Or sometimes we can feel like it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, So I wanted to talk about this because in my toolkit, if you like, and I want to start by saying it's always easier helping other people with these things because we're not emotionally attached. We don't have the energy behind it. There's a thing that I normally say around this topic, and it's just completely slipped my mind. But yeah, it's like we're not connected to it, so we're able to be a bit more subjective and stand back and have a look. So when it's our own stuff, it's sometimes hard to do. So I'm aware that I do this a lot for other people, whether I'm coaching them or mentoring them. I'm aware that I kind of go in and solutionize things and solve other people's problems. And I'm aware that every now and then I might have a problem or two of my own that I need to resolve. So when I woke up and realised that, yes, I'd woken up early, but I'd also woken up early because I was kind of, had something going around in my head. I kind of got up, had my breakfast, had a shower, and then thought, well, what am I going to do about this? Because for me, even if something has me feeling bad, there's only so long I can put up with feeling bad before I get bored of it, angry with it, and just need to think about something else. It's the reason why, and close friends will know this about me, I'm not a bury my head in the sand type person. However, I am I've been down in the mud on this and now I'm ready to move on. So very close friends of mine will know that if I share something with them that's like really rattled my cage, if you see me, even in a week's time, let alone in a month or 3 months' time, you won't get the best out of me if you keep saying, so, how was that thing? And kind of like, to me, it feels like it's dredging it up all over again. And thankful, I'm so thankful to the skills that I've amassed over the years. There's a few decades of my life now that allows me to move through things a lot quicker. And I'm not just talking about, oh dear, I've broken a fingernail and now it looks awful, or I've got a spot on my face or a blemish and it doesn't look how it should. I'm talking about, for those of you that know the story of the twins, I'm talking about biggies like that, of losing twins, things that, will floor a lot of people, and at the time floored me too. But these tools have allowed me to move past and move through these things. And I really enjoy sharing those with other people, because the skill of this, I often refer to it as the gifting in ugly wrapping. The gift in ugly wrapping behind going through something like that and living through something like that, which many of you have got your own experiences that you've lived through. Sorry, I'm distracted by seeing all the bits of my hair sticking up on the white wall. But many of you would have lived through things like this as well. So you'll have your own versions of that. And by the way, there are people who are genuinely as distressed by breaking a fingernail as someone else is by, kind of losing a pet. So I never want to negate the levels of someone's pain or someone's grief or someone's loss. One isn't more important or less important than the other. And I think as human beings, we need to stop saying that to ourselves and saying that to other people. Oh, but this thing was far worse. Because what happens is we internalise it. And when we internalise it, we do this to ourselves as well. Those of you who've got businesses will probably resonate with this. But also those of you that are kind of just living life, living your best lives or any other life. This whole notion that, by this time I should be doing this thing, or by this time I should be eating, my life should look like this. It's a kind of comparison that we do to ourselves, and it doesn't serve us. And when we get used to and conditioned to doing that, it makes tough times harder for us to slide through or move through. So as I was thinking about this, I started to write down, well, what did I do this morning after I had my shower and my breakfast and everything else? What did I do to kind of navigate this thing that's kind of buzzing around in the back of my mind to wake me up? So in order to prepare for this live, I listed down like everything and kind of reviewed everything that I did. I'm not going to share all of it because honestly it'll be like a masterclass and we'll be here for like a couple of hours. I will probably share some other bits and pieces in the Vibes Tribe, and I'll write about these pieces as well, because I like to write about them in a way that you can kind of take them away and flick a book open and use it as a manual. I like this stuff to be really practical life stuff as well. So the rest of them will be written down in some way, shape or form for your reading pleasure at some time as to, which you decide that you are going to buy anything that I write. And that's fine if you decide to, and fine if you decide not to too. So in this notion of springing forward or falling backward, in order to spring forward, there is kind of like a yin and a yang, isn't there? Sometimes in order to spring forward, sometimes our best springing forward comes from when we fell backwards. And sometimes it doesn't, it doesn't always have to be that way. So here's kind of like the process, if you like, the steps or the sequence of events that I went through when I then sat down. And I always advise, I sat down with a piece of paper and a pen. And I know it might not be so paper friendly and might be better to sort of do it on your computer, but actually when you can write stuff down, it kind of goes through your body, goes from your brain, through your heart and out of your arm. Something that I remember Jack Canfield saying many years ago, and that never left me. It's a good way to process something. It's a good way to have stuff work its way out or work itself out. So the first thing that I did, I thought about the thing that had kept me awake, or, well, actually didn't keep me awake, it woke me up. I'm very blessed to not be kept awake, thank goodness. I couldn't bear that, and I feel for those of you who kind of have troubles with not being able to sleep. So I thought, well, what was it that woke me up? Like, what specifically? Now, this is important because you might hear me saying, like, what happened? The question that I ask myself is, what's happening? And the reason that that is a specific question, even though it's 2 words, is because sometimes something happens in our life and we kind of broad brush it with oh my gosh, my life is a disaster. Now think about it. Oh my gosh, nothing goes right for me. Your life, your whole life, all of it, every single bit of it is a disaster? Really? Nothing ever goes right for you? Really? Did you not wake up this morning where sometimes other people in the world did not? Did you not go and breathe oxygen, see the same sun and moon as some people who might have been looking at it through bars because they've been locked up somewhere in the world for saying something that we get the chance to say? So come on now, you know, that's the kind of conversation that I was having with myself. Come on now. So the first thing to ask yourself in this kind of sequence of events, like I say, I'm going to share 7. Step 1, what's happening? Like, seriously, you might be watching this and thinking, I don't need this now, everything's good, But you know that at some point you might have a moment where you just want to kind of like reflect. And if that's the case, there's 3 dots at the top right-hand side of this post. If you tap on it, you'll be able to save this video and go back to it when you do. Or you'll go around and see a friend, or maybe be with family, or be in a situation where you'll remember it. You might even be at work and a work colleague says, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong. And you'll be like, everything? Going wrong? Never going right? And then you'll be kind of like scrolling through your phone or computer and going, I watched this video from this woman, because I'm aware that some of you follow me. You don't know me from Adam. You've never heard me speak. You've never been in a room with me. You might have come across one of my reels. I get the things saying these people are following you, and I'm like, brilliant. I don't know who they are, you know, but brilliant. Welcome on board. So you might be literally saying, this woman, you know, was talking about this thing, and this might be helpful for you. So at least if you save it, you might save it for yourself, you might save it for someone else, you might save it for a work situation. I don't mind why you save it, but do save it. And I will actually save this as well, because I know that I'll need to come back to this for myself, or maybe for somebody else, in the next 365 days. Who knows? So first step is, or first question is, what's happening? This is where I want you to tell the truth to yourself about what's happening. No, your world isn't about to collapse, unless it is literally about to collapse, you know. Let's get real with what's happening. In fact, I'm going to keep myself accountable and in check. I'm looking at the piece of paper where I made the notes to make sure that I did that. So what's happening, I was able to answer very specifically. No, I'm not going to share it with you because, you know, I'm an open book, but I do have private personal stuff as well. So I wrote down the exact thing, which amounted to a couple of words. Not, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong, or oh my gosh, it's taking too long, they're useless, they're rubbish. I was very, very specific. So now I know what's happening. The next thing I wanted to do is to find out, well, this happening, why is it causing me to feel, I think the word is stress, but a little bit kind of, some way about it. Why is it causing me to feel like that? And I really wanted to know why. And in answering these questions to yourself, you get a really truthful answer. And if we're feeling sorry for ourselves, the temptation is that we get the truthful answer, but we just want to let it slide. We want to poo-poo it. We want to just go, no, that's not it. It's got to be something worse than that. And here's the next dangerous thing that some people do. You'll poo-poo that idea and think it's got to be something worse by quantifying it, by saying something like, there are people in the world who are starving, who are in wars, who can't get to speak out, who don't get to go to school, who can't work, who are disabled, you know, or anything that springs up for you. All of that is true, but it doesn't negate how you're feeling and what you're feeling about, whether it's a broken fingernail, a redundancy, a promotion that you didn't get at work, an opportunity that you missed out on, something that you really wanted to do and couldn't. It's really, really important. So make sure that you write down when you do this why you're stressed. So, you might ask yourself something like, well, what's this about? Like, what's this about really? So then I wrote the thing that, the actual thing, because it's like you can pinpoint, well, this is the actual thing in this scenario. Now, you might do this and find that you've got a few things. And if that's the case, don't eat them all at once. Concentrate or focus on one thing and go back and repeat the exercise on the other things that come up. That's okay, and you're not the only one. There are people in the world with a gazillion things going on that they're grappling with, and they might not ever share it with you, so you might not ever know. I get to know because I hear a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Even some people who are in very kind of senior positions, responsible for a lot of decisions, well known. There's been a couple of those, and everyday people who, real people, real lives, I like to say. Everyday people like us who, just kind of do the best we can with what we've got. Okay, so once you've worked out, find out specifically why you're stressed, usually at this stage, what I realised was what kept me up last night was, or woke me up last night or in the morning, was it was going around in my head and there was nowhere else for it to go. Now, for some people, keeping pen and paper by the side of your bed so you can scribble it down, even if it's dark and you've got your eyes shut, and you throw the pen and paper on the floor and you can't read what you've written. Just the act of extracting that often helps. So you might be able to do that. So what I did specifically about the thing I was looking at, it led me to some clarity to write down 3 points about this particular thing, which I did. It's almost like I wrote it, I could see it in front of me on paper. And the minute I did that, it somehow helped the kind of worrying feeling to dissipate. So even if that's as far as you get, it will help to dissipate because now you can see everything. The next thing to do, which I guess I've just described, is that dig deeper. Once you've found out specifically why you're stressed, dig deeper and write it out. It's so much better than typing it out or even speaking it out. But if you can write it out, do. If you want to, voice it out and record it to write down later, then that's a good idea. You can do that on the street because people will just assume you're on a phone call, so you can do that too. Once I'd done that, it let me look at the possible solutions. Now, I hear people often glibly say, I've tried everything. Have you really? Have you gone to a witch doctor in the middle of somewhere? And no, probably not. Not that I'm suggesting that you go and see a witch doctor, but have you really tried everything? So when you look at the possible solutions, this gives you an opportunity to try the things that you hadn't thought of yet, to try something that you haven't tried yet, to do something different. And even just kind of sitting there and thinking it through and writing down ideas, again, is enough to spark creativity. Now, there are 3 things to pay attention to when you're looking at possible solutions. There's something called the Disney strategy. Again, if I say things on these lives and you think, what on earth is that? I want to hear more. Feel free to type underneath and just say, don't just say I want to hear more because I'll be like, what about? But say I want to hear more and I will do one of these lives. I've got a whole year of them and more. I'll do one of these lives and I'll focus on that thing because, what's useful for me is useful for you. What's useful for you is useful for all of us. So 3 things to pay attention to when you're looking at possible solutions. If you like, they're like 3 personas to take on. And in the Disney strategy, it's reputed that Walt Disney actually kind of went into different spaces. So he could be more thoughtful, more critical, more visionary. Now, when you are looking at something that concerns or worries you, there are 3 things, and I actually take clients through this, and they're pretty mind-blowing in their own way. So the first one is the magic wand. Imagine that you had a magic wand And this thing, this problem, this, concern or whatever the thing is for you, you could beep on your magic wand and it will result in the perfect outcome, the most perfect outcome. This is not a time to say, yeah, but, you can't do it because, or I would if I had the money, or, you don't know what they're like, they're a nightmare, or we're not allowed to do that at work. That's not a time for that. You purely go into magic wand. Ping! If I magic wanded it, this is what would happen. And the irony of this is one of my very good friends actually bought me a magic wand for one of my birthdays, which I still have today. And I was a nightmare for the first month because I was literally going around to everyone, ping, your wish is my command, like some sort of magical fairy. But in all truth, when you think, okay, if I had a magic wand and I could change the situation, it gives you the ability to access parts of your brain that look for a good solution, a good resolution, whether you think it's possible or not. It extends space and allows for the magic. I cannot tell you how many times I've spoken to people and use this magic wand exercise. I'm talking like some senior suited and booted exec type people, some people that are very senior in sort of very, well-known organisations, people who thought their life was crumbling to pieces and was able to turn it round because of something like this magic wand thing. So whatever comes out, no matter if you think it's ridiculous, whatever thought springs up, write it down, okay? The second part of this, the kind of persona to take on, is discernment. This is your most, whoever you resonate with as a kind of a good person, in terms of like, maybe they're business-like, they get stuff done. It could be Richard Branson, it could be Oprah, it could be Sir Alan Sugar, it could be Stephen Bartlett, it could be any of those people, whoever you have a resonance to. If you think what they talk about is a crock of poop, then don't use them, because you'll kind of be writing it down with this lens and thinking, yeah, they're so full of hot air, why am I even listening to them? It could be, a relative, it could be a family member, it could be a friend that you've got, it could be somebody that you see in the public eye. It doesn't matter who, and this is not something that you need to go out and share. This is just for you. Write it down. So first part of that is the magic wand. Ping, what would you do? The next piece of that is discernment. If you're being discerning, what would you do? And then the third piece is this kind of, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Imagine this. This normally works with a small child, whether it's your own or somebody else's. A small child that you really love and adore. Someone's about to mess with them and something kicks into you with that, oh no, you don't. You just stay right there. Stop right there. You don't do that. It's that energy. It's that I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop you from interfering with my life. If you kind of, like, I want to say, put it on, wear it. Imagine it's like a shirt or a dress or a cloak or something. I'm going to do whatever it takes and put it on. Now, I know this sounds wacky, but I defy you to try this and tell me that it doesn't work or doesn't make the situation better, okay? Because one of the things that I started off with the what's happening, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong. When you stay in that place for too long, what actually happens is when someone like me comes up and prepares a live and gives you this information, which people pay for, by the way, and pay good money for, it allows you to take a check out and go, yeah, but my situation's really bad. None of this is going to work. And then you don't do whatever it takes. You don't even try. You don't look for a possibility. You don't look at the solutions. And you stay stuck in that loop. And it's like, this work that I do is life purpose. I could come on here and tell you half of what you need to do and kind of like negate half. Like I say, there were more than these, but the only reason that I haven't done it is for time. And even as I look at this now, I've been on for 24 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. like I say, this could be like a whole day workshop or a whole week workshop, let alone, a 25, 30-minute live. So I'm just going to recap on these things. So the first thing is get clear on what's happening, what's actually happening. Know your world isn't falling apart. It could be that, someone's nicked your car. I'm not saying that's not bad, but when you come at it from oh my gosh, everything's gone wrong, as opposed to, well, what's the thing that's worrying me, concerning me? Let's get specific. Actually, someone's nicked my car, nicked my girlfriend, nicked my idea, whatever the thing is. Get really specific on what's happening. Second thing, do an inquiry to find out why you're stressed. Name it. All of these things, you're writing down the answers. It's not war and peace. It's literally a few words, a couple of words or one sentence. Why are you stressed? Get specific. I'm worried about, or I'm concerned that this might happen. I'm worried that I'm too excited about it. I don't feel like I've got any control over, name the thing. Write it down. Be very, very specific. Then 3, dig deeper to find out what it's about. If there's thoughts wrangling around your head, write them out. Even if you never read them again or do anything with it. It's like pulling strands of spaghetti from your head and allowing space in your head and giving you room. Then the next thing you do is you look at possible solutions. Even if you don't think they're going to work, it doesn't matter. What you're looking for are things that you might not have thought of before, solutions that you might not have wanted to try before. Maybe you thought, I'll just wait. That feels too drastic. So that's what you do. And then the 3 hats that you wear is the magic wand one, the discernment one, and the cloak of I'll do whatever it takes one. Okay? If you've just joined and you're thinking, what on earth are you talking about? Definitely go back and have a look. But do save this. The 3 dots, save this, come back to it. Share it with family or friends or people around you who might need it. Work colleagues, it could be that you're leading a team. It could be that you're part of a team and your boss is kind of like losing it and you want to be able to help. Do whatever it takes. Those are my tips. Those are what I'm sharing. Slightly longer one on a Sunday, A, because the man's watching the football and I've got free reign. I'm going to go back and watch my documentary. But B, because I recognise that at some point of a Sunday evening, even though my Australian people are going to be on their Monday morning soon, sometime of a Sunday evening, you might be looking at what you want to do or need to do for the week. Or you might be looking at what needs to happen at work. You might know that you're going into something tough this week. I'm so far going into quite an exciting week. I say exciting for me, meeting client tomorrow in person, which I love, and being able to help them with something that they really need help with and I find easy, but love helping them. Other things that I love about this week is another client that I'm seeing on Tuesday. I'm really excited to hear their progress. Sometimes I don't hear from them for like 4 or 5 weeks, and when I come back they're doing the most extraordinary things. Honestly, when people tell me good stuff, I get probably just as excited, if not more excited for them, as if it was happening to me. It doesn't matter the good thing. I will celebrate anybody for anything. I really will. I had something really cool happened. I'd just done this exercise and kind of taken a breath and gone, right, these are some of the actions that I need to do this week. These are some of the conversations that I need to have this week. And actually, here are some conversations that I don't need to have this week. And even though everything's the same and nothing's changed, it gives you a new perspective. It gives you a new kind of joie de vivre. And with that, I felt more empowered than disempowered to be able to move forward and make these decisions and do the things that I needed to do. And I kid you not, at the moment that I was like, that feels better, had a conversation with the man about these things, something then was came into my world, which was honestly such the right thing at the right time. It couldn't have been more perfect timing. And when I woke up in the morning, I would not have known that this thing was going to be there. So there is a little bit of magic wand, and that wasn't even something that I could have thought of. And it will be a really great thing to help me, coincidentally, synchronistically, navigate this. So try it. Like, don't bother coming back to me and going, oh, I'm gonna put a note onto here just to say how this is what I did, but I think it's rubbish because, you know, don't poo-poo anything until you've tried it and done the whole thing. This is on video. It's not going to go anywhere. You can pause it, go to the next step, do the next action, go back and watch the next piece, pause it again, go, you know, do that action, play it. So if you do that and you go through and apply it to something, I don't need to know what you've applied it to. I just want to know what the results were as, you know, a result of doing these things, because I know that it works. It's not that it doesn't. And the biggest way that we take ourselves down by the knees when we're springing forward or sometimes falling backward or doing both kind of alternately is we don't give ourselves the chance. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't try to do the thing. We just kind of dismiss it, and we don't go through these kind of like, well, I'm going to do whatever it takes piece. And that's a shame, because what that ultimately will show you is how little you value yourself. I can't do anything with that. You can, but it's your choice. So spring forward, fall backward. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. And I can't wait to hear like how it works. Just a thumbs up of, you know, not even a thumbs up like, as in the comment, Jenny, I did it, it worked, thumbs up. And that's it. And you'll probably need to tag me, otherwise I might not see in the way the comments go. Anyway, that's it. Bye for now. Thank you for watching. Happy Sunday.